Thank you very much, our Permanent Secretary, Mr. Bisham Kupen. Minister Susan Rodriguez, Regional Chairman, Mr. David Armagon, Ms. Denise Tudor, Director of Operations and performing the responsibilities for Chief Executive Officer, various heads of CHPA, staff of CHPA in general who are in your orange jerseys and outfit, members of the media, but the most important persons are you who are here seated under this tent, the beneficiaries, and those who are on the outside trying to come in. The pleasure is ours to join you today here in Region 6. Today is an enjoyable moment for you here in Region 6 in terms of securing your future. We're also today celebrating the birth anniversary of our President, His Excellency, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali. And please, he's not here, but I'm sure from the live we can give him a big round of applause recognizing his birthday. And at the same time, in other parts of the country, in other regions, we're also grappling with issues that confronts us in a personal way, and certainly for the entire nation. Once you have a heart and you have a soul, you will be affected by some of the things you may see. I want to start off by reading from, I didn't plan to do this, but somebody pointed out an article to me, and I want to point out some extracts from that article, written Wednesday, April 23rd. So that's this week. The circus at Central Housing and Planning Authority continues, where once again, Guyanese are made the victims. And just a few weeks, and extracting, right, sections. Just a few weeks ago, on April 1st, I wrote a letter titled, PPPC Government's Housing Policy Was Too Ambitious. 15 days later, I stand firmly by that position. What we are witnessing is a glaring lack of policy direction and strategic planning through no fault of the citizen, but rather those in the government. Guyanese must not fall for this web of deception. Provisional letters, and you heard Minister Rodriguez alluded to it, issued now with no clear guarantee of delivery before September 2025, only raises further doubts. What recourse will citizens have after that date if their allocations don't materialize? It is the PPPC who promised 50,000 house lots within 5-year term, and they cannot, and they will not reach the target before the 2025 elections. Finally, and there's another section I'm extracting. Finally, I urge my fellow Guyanese, do not fall for the PPPC's political gimmicks when it comes to the housing sector. That letter was written shamefully by a minister who had responsibility for the housing sector in the last APNU AFC government, Annette Ferguson. And I said had responsibility because they had collapsed the Ministry of Housing and Water and put the housing sector as a department under the communities, Ministry of Communities. So I'm starting you with that framework. That's what was said, right? You just heard Minister Rodriguez highlighted to you some updates where we are at and what has been happening. I want to ask for your patience a few minutes because I'll give you this assurance. She said, our word is our bond. Many times the media ask, you're doing another Dream Realize activities. What new will you say? We are consistent. We don't go to one region and say something differently from what we're saying. And we're live, so you have it as it happened. The information that we provide, the policies and the programs we update you on, is consistent. You've just come out 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago from an outreach by His Excellency here, led by His Excellency with other ministers here in Region 6. And you would have been updated throughout the length and breadth of Berbice here of government's plans, programs, visions, and accomplishments. So once you understand that context, you'll realize that there are some people who should never raise their heads again to speak about governance, or more so if you had responsibility for housing, to speak on housing. Today, we are starting our over the next 2 days, there are 1,500 house lots minimum that will be allocated in the new areas here in Berbice. That sees us starting today at 45,800 allocations. Region 6, to date, I'm giving you the statistics so you'll understand the context. Region 6 to date, in this PPP tenure, this 4.5 years, we have allocated 4,545 lots here in Region 6. Take that into context, that while we're allocating, we have every day our offices are filled with new applicants. Region 6, in 4.5 years, 3,993 new applicants have applied in this PPP tenure. That therefore tells you, if we have already allocated 4,500. We're doing another 1,600. And I'm starting today with our pending applicants to about approximately for Region 6, or just over 6,000 pending applicants. We have given you letters, we have started to give you letters, one letter that is, that outlines and commit. So it's a letter that is coming from the government of Guyana that commits that all pending applicants here in Region 6 that has a pending application from December 31st, 2024 and prior will be addressed in this year, 2025. I therefore want to say to the others on the outside, we're only starting another round today. More lands are continually being allocated for this new area. It's 1,500 we're making available. And by the end of May, we will be back right here to allocate another set of lots for the new area in Overwinning. And as I speak, as Minister Susan reminded you, we also have started, as part of the 3,000 plus allocations we did, the Molson Creek area, and then recently we had the new Hawk-style area. So you'll understand, therefore, that we have committed and we are responding. So there's no need to get anxiety. There's no need to worry, because we will work every day for all 10 regions to address housing matters. And so similarly, here in Region 6, in all of that, we have invested for the infrastructure. So already the areas that I'm speaking about, the letter you'll be getting today, you'll get another letter. The letter that you're getting today commits to you, when you're allocated, commits to you that the infrastructure work will be done in this year, 2025, for the area you're getting. The investment costs we have invested to date for the areas of 75, 76, Palmyra, near here, we have already allotted the infrastructure works for the Molson Creek area, as well as for the Hochstyle area. $16.3 billion for first phase infrastructure to ensure that everyone access their lands that have already been allocated to date. So we must not take idly when we speak about allocations. To do this requires two things. The land, to find the land, it's the very Guyana that was here. It's the very Guyana that was here. And the lands are all here. So the AP and UAFC government had these lands to allocate too. They had it at their disposal. What did they do? How much did they invest in Region 6 in housing? You will want to ask yourself. So I was going back to get some research, to do some research and some statistics, to be able to do a comparison, because when people want to shoot from their hips and think that they can write behind a keyboard and feel that after 4.5 years the people of Guyana will forget, we must ensure that they are reminded. In Region 6, in the AP and UAFC government, they invested in no new development structure for housing. They allocated, Chair, 1,100 lots in Region 6. Today, over these 2 days, we will be doing 1,500. So what we're doing in these 2 days, we're clearing that what they did in 5 years. And that is part of a total of 7,534 lots that they had allocated. You may ask yourself here today that your business would come in to now, to go put your hand in the envelope, collect your lot, and go. And that's what probably be going through your minds. But you also must understand, too, that you have a government that is people-centered and is committed to ensuring that we make the lives of all its citizens better. I just want to quickly then, because we've been updating you, we've been saying throughout every one of our activity, so you just need to go back to some of those tapes. But I just quickly want to update you some other things for Region 6 and in general. So for today, over the next 2 days, the 10th on my left, you see it marked conveyance. There are 173 persons that were called for titles that is available to be uplifted. And the titling and transport to ensure people have ownership is also an aggressive program we're working on, because equally important with your allocations is the infrastructure and then the final ownership. So to date, we have processed over 18,000 certificates of titles. In Region 6 alone, we have processed just under 1,000 titles here for Region number 6. And so for plantations, Mount Sinai, Ordnance Fortlands, Block 5 Anchorville, Bloomfield, Hampshire, Williamsburg, Glasgow, those are the areas where we're issuing the titles for you today. What that does, it give you legal ownership and security. And you've been hearing our president and the others speaking about generation, wealth, and stability, because when you have a title, then what does it allow you to do? It is passed on to the next generation, and therefore it allows long-term planning and investment and economic stability. What we want you to do in the meanwhile is maximize the presence of the bank, and I also want to recognize Guyana Water Inc. booth that is here too. So engage the banks and the insurance companies so you can get your information when you're allocated. So don't wait until you're able to access your land, then you're now hurrying to go acquire the necessary information to know how much you can invest in borrowing, etc. Do this early. We have over to be issued, we're expecting to also issue another 20 vouchers for the Steel and Cement Initiative, another program that is geared towards helping with home ownership. We have invested over, to date for Region 6, we have reinvested over $46 million in this program. And tomorrow we have another $5 million investment on this program. Again, all in the housing sector. Quickly, in terms of some of the outstanding matters you have, because we have a query section, is that you have a number of areas that have not been regularized or we're working on ownership. So you have, for example, Belvedere North. We're working on ensuring that we are able to regularize and put that into ownership. We have addressed Mount Sinai, we have addressed Albion, Sand Reef, we have addressed Hampshire, but we also have pockets of other areas that we're working to ensure that we are able to do this as quickly as possible. You therefore have the opportunity now for this younger generation, as has been said, when in our period, when we aspire to, when we become adults and we aspire to go on our own and we aspire to do our own planning, when you talk about owning your own home, you used to say, wow, I gotta wait until I reach 40-something or 50-something to get my own house. That's no longer a gaffe. The reality is, therefore, as to what we are doing, in your 20s, you will be able to be allocated your land as well as to be able to have your own home, therefore allowing you to start your future early, therefore allowing you, your family, to have that secure environment to operate and to also to help in the social fabric that we're ensuring that we have a family unit in a community. I want to also quickly make mention of some comments that I've been seeing. And I always use this forum to speak about them because you have listeners, you have media. So very often after the activity, we'll have somebody turn up at the office and they will say to us, or today, they will say to us that they travel from overseas. They spend I don't know how much US dollars to travel to overseas, from overseas to be allocated their land. Let me make this point very clear. We do not call anyone from overseas. So we don't know where people are. We have a methodology how we've been engaging persons. But any number that we call, it's a local number. Am I clear? So nobody, for the listeners and potential persons, don't come saying that you travel and you spend so much money and you got to travel back. Because really our housing program is intended to address the people who are living here. That's the reality. And we're committing to, like in the other regions, that as part of the opening up of new lands for agriculture purpose, so will be availability for housing. Because hand in hand, when you see new roads are being constructed in new areas, it's economic opportunities as well as investment for whether in government services in general or for the housing program. And here in Region 6, we have competing interests, and we have to be truthful about this too. Because as part of the consolidation and concentration of the sugar industry, Region 6 plays a major role. And therefore, the availability of lands in certain area becomes of a necessity. So the lands that we're now opening up, therefore, must not be taken for granted since, as I said, We also need land for agriculture to diversify, so we won't depend on the traditional crops. We don't just depend on the oil and gas industry, but you have also seen, and that is why you have seen last year, a growth in the non-oil economy of over 13%. That is because of our direct investment by government to ensure that we can't give all the land to houses. You have to eat. Just now, when next hour from now, those who are waiting will say, Minister, I'm hungry, right? We have to eat. So it's equally important. That is why, led by President Ali, as part of the CARICOM initiative, you have seen an aggressive program that sees us building out for the agriculture sector that will see not just for Guyana, but for the Caribbean at large. So for those of you now, congratulations. Today you'll be allocated between the Providence and the Glasgow areas. These are new areas. And then, as I mentioned to you, the undernaming, overwinning, I keep saying undernaming. The overwinning is the other area to come. So be rest assured, Barbicians, we have enough land available to address all of the pending applicants as we have committed. And my last comment is resort to another point I've been seeing frequently. We have persons who are coming to say, I haven't been called, but I have, and let me quote, I've been applying, I've been reapplying, and I've applied more than once. You have people who come and say that. You don't apply more than once. You don't reapply. Once you apply one time and you issue that acknowledgement letter, the only thing you do after that is to update the information. Because if your income changes and it changes your status from whether it's a low, moderate, middle, high, well, you can't go higher than high. Once it changes your status, then we have advised you to bring your necessary information so that we can update the records. It helps us when we're allocating like today. Or if you change your telephone number, let us know. You can update that to the system so that when we call, we can get on to you. But we don't ask anybody to reapply. And your application is not completed unless you have an acknowledgement letter. Going online and apply without doing the interview and supplying the supporting documents is not completing the application process. So to our listeners, please don't post on social media after this, I applied so many times and I'm not getting through. Please don't go post what happened to Region 1, what happened to Region 2, what happened to Region 3, what happened to Region 4. We go in every region. Have that assurance from us. We have an aggressive program. In fact, we have maxed out the days, so they're currently reworking the next schedule for the month of May. That will see us in the other regions. And we have modified too, because last week, or the week before, what we did, and I like to address the issues as they arise. We must speak about it. It's okay. What we did, for the very first time, recognizing that we are clearing the backlog, so we're going up to December 31st, we opened the system, meaning for the persons who are coming. And therefore, when that happens, is also a recipe for excess numbers, because there's only literally so much the staff can do in a day. And the staff in general, they have been working overtime, weekends, continuously. We don't close for lunch hour. You know, yesterday, sometimes you hear comments. Yesterday, a staff was having their lunch probably at about 3. And, you know, some member of the public is commenting, what happened? I can't wait, you know, that kind of thing. Our offices, let me make this very point. Our offices, because of what we're doing today and continuously, are taking in, obviously, more activities. So there are more persons who are coming to the office. At any one day, I said this at the last outreach, at any one day, using the central ministry, there are about 300 persons coming for new applications, for queries, for certificate, for conveyance matters, for squatting issues, any one time, any day. So we have to work, therefore, with some sort of semblance of order. We are humans too. And that is why I've been working closely with the staff to ensure that we keep them going, because we have to also motivate them to keep the energy level high. So for example, today, you see the lights are on already. We're working to finish. We don't close off at 5. We may close at 5 for the gate because you have to address the people inside, but who are already here, we're working to finish, and that's how we work. So please, for the listeners, for other housing matters, and for you who are here, please exert some patience. It's a lot of work involved, but we are committed to this task. And the Ministry of Housing and Water, more directly the Central Housing and Planning Authority, is here to serve you. That's the mandate we have been given to ensure that we are able to deliver on the government's commitment. That's why when Annette Ferguson talked about dreams, and we are just nearing 50,000, we're not dealing with 50,000, we're passing that. Within the next 2 weeks or before 2 weeks, we'll pass 50,000. We're going way beyond that. So when we achieve our manifesto commitment, it is a signal to us we have achieved. We don't fold our arms and rock back. It means reward. I had a previous boss who said to me, the reward for good work or performance is more work. So as we are able to do more, so will more work be done. Finally, I want to close by saying to you, on the waterfront, please, please, please be patient. We have investments that are being done as I speak. In fact, over minimum about $3 billion on the water sector alone here in Region 6. To address, 1, the access, 2, to ensure that everyone eventually must get 24 hours water, and 3, the treated water must come through your tap. That's the commitment we have given for the coastline. And so, for example, we have a plant that will be done at Adventure. That work is expected to be completed in 2026. That is about 5,000 customers. That's $2.2 billion investment. We have upgraded the New Amsterdam plant. That is expected to be completed somewhere around July of this year. We're talking about 5,000 more customers who are going to be affected. New Amsterdam, Vrijhead, Stanleyton, Smithfield, Togborg. For the Adventure plant, from 10 to number 50. Similarly, we have transmission lines that are going on that are committed for Betsy Ground Chair. So we have another 300 customers. By the end of June latest, another 50 million being invested. We have upgrade for the inline filters at Chesney, Edinburgh, number 69, Crabber Creek, Joanna and Mybe Curie. By the middle of this year, that will be completed. And then we have just received the necessary no objection for awarding of a contract for the drilling of a new well at Yakasari, Johanna, that will see for Blackbush, because there's always complaint at Blackbush, because we want to ensure the level of service is at a certain level for everyone. It will address in Blackbush to provide and conclude every complaint of water, another $300 million there. So you'll understand, therefore, and I can go on, you'll understand, therefore, you are coming in a time on this joyful day here in region number 6, on a blessed day, that you will also be leaving here enhanced with your allocation letters. Having said that, congratulations to all of you. All of you who have been vetted and received your allocation number will be addressed. So don't worry, they'll come to you. Your turn will be addressed. They will move very swiftly after this. Have a God bless day.